So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Living Beyond Limits. I am Reverend Jennifer Spear, and we are a part of Centers for Spiritual Living. And I'm so glad that you've joined us here today in the park for this wonderful morning service. And welcome to all of you who are online. I'm so glad you've joined us online for this service. And so we're going to begin today by I'm going to share our mission statement with you, and so if you know it by heart, I invite you to say it along, and if you just want to listen, take it in, I invite you to do that. It goes like this. We are a sanctuary where people can discover and reveal the presence of God within their own being and experience their oneness with all life. Through the realization of this inner presence of love and peace, we give way to the evolutionary impulse of the divine and become a beneficial presence in the world. And so that's what we're all doing here at Living Beyond Limits, is we're giving ourselves the opportunity to remember that, yes, indeed, we are each individualized expressions of that one infinite presence. That one presence that expresses as love and as peace, as the truth of our own wholeness and the truth of our own authentic power. Because when we come to know that that is innate to our own beingness, then we aren't such victims to what happens outside of us. Because then when the world is not being kind or loving or peaceful, we can tap into that within us and find our own peace and our own love and stand in our own power and our own wholeness. And as we do that, we then come to the world differently than if we think that we are just victims to whatever's going on. And as we come to the world from that place of love or peace or power, we actually act as a beneficial presence to the entire world, because we are connected to everyone and everything, and obviously as a beneficial presence in that conversation or in that interaction. And so I say thank you to each and every one of you for answering the call of your own soul to be walking this path, to be bringing that divine presence into this world in a way that is beneficial and that lifts humanity. So thank you for that. And so Barbara Conant, our practitioner, is going to come up now and begin our service really by leading us in an invocation or an evocation as we begin to evoke an awareness of the presence of Spirit that is already with us, and do a contemplative reading. And so I invite you just to kind of settle in and to move inward and to allow the song that we're going to sing, We Are, to move you deeper, and allow the sound of the bowl to help you just to slow down a little bit as we vibrate with the vibration of that bowl. Of my busy thoughts this morning and move to focus within. Today, I have a deep feeling of gratitude and am aware of the oneness of life that is all around me. I see and experience this oneness which fills my heart with grace and goodness. It is here, right now, where I am, and it is expressing itself through Living Beyond Limits. From the one source, I draw its perfect peace, and am fully present
in the love of our sacred time together. I accept the good that is so bountiful and feel blessed to be its expression in my world. I know the creative intelligence is for everyone and present in each person's activity of living. And today, I realize and give thanks for the all good that each of us experiences. It opens our hearts to Reverend Jennifer's talk, which inspires and lifts our minds to the creative life that blesses our lives and those around us. I bless everyone and our time together, and I say thank you, Spirit, for all the good which unfolds today. And so it is. Good morning, everyone. My reading today is from 365 Days of Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. It's entitled, I Rejoice in the Good of All, and it goes like this. There is a divine awareness within me that leads me upward and onward. I prepare myself for this experience by filling my mental life with spiritual realization. I center my thoughts in spirit and am filled with inspiration and joy. Laying aside all fear and uncertainty, I enter into my good today. Awareness of my oneness with life, I let go of all thoughts of discord and lack, and permit the true pattern of wholeness to come into my mind. I tend to my thoughts of good with the fire of imagination and feeling, and I refuse to think about anything unlike wholeness. Knowing that life gives according to my faith, I lift my mind, I elevate my faith, and I listen deeply to the song of my inner being. Every good I have experienced is now increased. Every joy that has come into my life is now multiplied. There is a new influx of inspiration into my thought. I see more clearly than ever before that my divine birthright is peace, joy, and eternal goodness. I realize that this same birthright is bequeathed to all people. The divine presence gives itself to all people through love and friendship, peace and harmony. I rejoice in this good for all, and so it is.
And so today, actually, in honor of the Fall Equinox, we're going to call in the directions. And so in the pagan tradition, which is grounded in respect and reverence for the natural world, calling upon the four directions is the usual way to begin any ceremony. Each direction is associated with an element of the natural world and represents some part of our human nature as well. The directions are not seen as separate and isolated, but rather as a part of an independent, interdependent system that makes up the world. In honor of the Fall Equinox and the sacred traditions of the earth, I invite all of you to join us in calling in the directions. So those who are calling in the directions, I invite them to come up here right now. And I invite you to stand. Oh, beloved energies of the east, south, west, north, above, below, and center, we welcome you this day. And so I invite you to face east.
Welcome east, place of the rising sun, birth and rebirth, the winds that bring new beginnings and bring about clarity, the place of enlightenment and illumination. We are open to your inspiration this day. Give us you new ideas, new beginnings, new breath in our speaking. Let this new day dawn in us with new and unlimited possibilities. Give us wisdom and insight for our growth. Welcome east. And I invite you to take 1/4 turn to the right.
Welcome south, place of the noonday sun, the spiritual realm, the place of passion, creation, and inspiration, the spark of life, the fire within. May your heart live in our hearts as passion for what we are called to do. Let your fire ignite our spirits. Welcome south. Now please make a 1/4 turn to your right.
Welcome west, place of the setting sun, the emotional realm, the place of reflection, of introspection, the place of endings, of death that is not ending, but a transition to a new beginning, the direction of the bountiful harvest, the evening star, place of transformation and change. Welcome west. And I invite you to turn another 1/4 of the turn to face north.
Welcome north, the place of abundance, prosperity, sustenance, grounding, and physical manifestation. The physical realm, the place of rejuvenating rest, peaceful slumber, stillness, inner wisdom, the place where dreams begin. May the wisdom of the north influence all that we do. May we live in balance and experience abundance. Welcome, North.
Just turn around and face the front again. And look up. Welcome above. Welcome, Grandfather Sky. May the wisdom of the stars, planets, weather, and the wisdom of the beings that inhabit the sky be with us. Let all of your blessings fall on us. Make our ideas take flight as your energy enlivens us. Welcome above.
Welcome below. Welcome, Great Mother Earth, beloved Gaia. Let us feel our connection with you today. May our bodies of your clay find a comfortable home on you, and may your ways of flow, conservation, economy, and nurturance unfold in our lives. Bless us, Mother Earth, and welcome.
And within, and our heart, we welcome the great within, the place of balance, of center, of timelessness and transformation, the place of the void from which all things are born, and to whom all things return. May this inner universe that contains all we could ever need be with us today. Welcome to all that we are. Welcome to the great within. And so the directions have been called, and we are now in sacred space, open to the energies of all of these blessings. And so thank you. And you may be seated. And so the fall equinox is this coming Wednesday. The word equinox actually means equal night. And the equinox is also called Mabon. Mabon was a Welsh god of mythology who was a child of the light and the son of the Earth Mother Goddess. And on the equinox, it is one of the 2 days of the year that are in absolute balance, where there is equal length to day and night, and there is equilibrium between the day and night. And it is symbolic for us of balance. And it is an invitation for us to invite or to experience or to bring forward greater balance in our own lives. And so Mabon is a time of rest. It is a time of rest after the labor of the long harvest. It is about a balance between work and rest, a balance between celebration and quiet, a balance between being out in the world and coming home, and home to ourselves and being more inward. It is also the time of year when the leaves begin to fall from the trees, for they have already served their purpose. They have created photosynthesis throughout the spring and the summer to nurture that tree. And they have created a place of shelter for birds and squirrels to build their nests and to raise their young as a place of protection. And they have created shade during the heat of the summer for people and animals and picnics and us here at Living Beyond Limits to do church in the park. And as the sun begins to wane and the weather starts to become cooler, those leaves begin to fall from the trees and become mulch on the ground for next year's growth. And also the seeds for next year are planted in that mulch so that it becomes a rich place for that nurturance. For without the mulch of those fallen leaves, the land would be barren and there would be no place of nurturance for those seeds to grow. And so the fall equinox is a time also to complete projects. It is a time to clear out. It is a time to let go of what is no longer needed as we prepare for the winter, so that in turn the winter can offer her gifts to us, the gifts of quiet and the gifts of nurturance and reflection and being inward and being peaceful. And so we can use those falling leaves as a reminder for ourselves to let go of what has already served its purpose and is no longer serving us. That we can use those falling leaves as a reminder to let go of that which is not moving us in the direction of where we want to go and where we want to be. To let go of that which is keeping us off balance. To let go of perhaps physical stuff or beliefs or shoulds or obligations that no longer serve us, or habits possibly that keep us from our good. Because I know we all want to live in balance. We all want to live with a sense of freedom and free flow in our lives. We all want to carry a load that we can handle, not a load that outweighs us and feels bigger than what we can handle. And we want to be open to the blessings that life offers us, to be open to the blessings of peace and of love and of joy, to be open to friendships and fun and play and rest, to be open to our own creative expression and the ability to shine our light into the world and to live a life that feels like it's in balance. I mean, think about it. Your body is in balance. If you look at that kind of as an example, you take in food and it feeds your body, your whole body, the nutrients that those muscles and nerves need. It rebuilds your tissues and gives you energy so that you can go out and live your life. And then your body eliminates the waste and what it does not need. It eliminates what it does not use. It eliminates what does not serve it. And your lungs breathe in air, and then that oxygen flows throughout your bloodstream and throughout your entire body. And then you release the carbon dioxide because it's not what your body needs. It's not what your body uses. And so we too can let go of what we no longer need, what we are no longer using, what is no longer serving us. And I know sometimes it's kind of hard to let go of some of those things that no longer serve us because they've been a part of our lives for so long, because we're so familiar with them. Sometimes it's hard to let go of some of those things because we feel like we have an obligation. And sometimes that obligation is actually outworn its time and it's not really necessary anymore and it's not serving us. Sometimes it's something because we feel like it's a duty, or maybe it's just because we feel stuck. Or maybe we haven't let go of those things that don't serve us simply because we haven't taken the time to examine the fact that that thing does not serve us and to look at what it is that we might need to do in order to let it go. All of those things, however, weigh us down. And so the title of my talk today is Falling Leaves. And I'm talking about that the fall equinox can be a reminder to us the importance of living in balance. That the falling leaves of the trees can be a reminder to us that it's okay to let go. That it's okay to let go of what isn't serving us. That what isn't serving our highest and our best, so that in turn we can make room for the things that do serve our highest and our best. You know, in this philosophy, we have a saying, and I'm sure you've heard me say it very many times, that says, God can only do for us what God can do through us. We live in a universe of infinite creativity. We live in a principle of boundless potential. We live in a field, Marisha, of opulence, of opulent good. And the nature of life, the nature of the universe, the nature of God is to unfold itself. Its nature is to express. And it seeks to unfold itself and to express within you and through you. It seeks to express itself within your life and through your life. That's what it does. And it desires through your own heart's desires. Your own heart's desires are the universe desiring through you so that you might unfold something better, so that you might unfold something greater, so that you might unfold that thing that feels so good and really is for your absolute best life. And sometimes there are things that get in the way of that. Sometimes there are things that block that flow of good from coming to us. Sometimes it's thoughts. Things like, I don't deserve, or things like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough. Sometimes it's behaviors, like resentments and unforgiveness. Sometimes it's just an abundance of stuff that we have that we're not using or utilizing or appreciating or valuing. So maybe it's physical possessions that you're not using. Maybe it's ideas or beliefs or ways of being that are blocking that flow of good from coming into your life. And so I'd like to share a story from you, and it's written by a minimalist whose name is Jennifer, and she writes a blog that's called Simply and Fiercely. She says, in the years before minimalism, I lived in a reasonably sized 2-bedroom townhome. I don't know exactly how big it was, probably small by American standards, but it was definitely more space than I needed. I should have been very comfortable there, but I wasn't. Instead, my home was overflowing with clutter, and it was a constant source of anxiety. I struggled to shut my closet door. I had to shuffle papers and who knows what every time I sat down for a meal. And I was constantly tripping over things. Probably shoes. After all, I had more than 100 pairs. I felt overwhelmed, and at the time I thought it was because my house was such a mess. I was always cleaning, yet somehow the job was never done. There was just too much to keep up with. It wasn't fun, but I can see now that it was only the tip of the iceberg. Constant cleaning was a pain, but the real cause of my never-ending stress and anxiety was the clutter in my mind. You see, the real problem with too much stuff isn't with your physical possessions. Instead, it's about the decisions they represent. It's about the decisions they represent. On any given day, I'd come home after a long day at work, and this is what I'd hear. Unworn cocktail dress calling out from my closet. Why don't you wear me anymore? A rarely used sewing machine hidden in the corner. When are you going to finish making that dress that you started last year? Dusty books on the bookshelves, wondering out loud, is she ever going to read us again? It was a constant hum in the back of my mind. It was a constant hum in the back of my mind, and I was never at ease in my own home, at least not without using TV or social media to escape from the world. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Unfortunately, not. I learned the hard way that things you own either contribute or take from your life. Barbara Hemphill had a quote that says, clutter is no more than postponed decisions. You know, I remember when I was in ministerial school and I was taking a class that was actually on inner and outer creativity. And part of what we were doing in that class was about creating balance in our lives. We did things like looking at the things in our life and deciding what was urgent and what was important. We did things like looking at our time and what time of the day were we creative and had more energy, and what time of the day did we not have as much creativity or as much energy, and to create a schedule so that the things that you needed creativity for were done at that time. And the things that took no creativity, like washing the dishes, you did when you didn't have that much energy. We looked at what were the things that were using up or wasting our time unnecessarily. and looking at what it was that we did that enhanced our creativity and what zapped our creativity and what was unnecessarily taking up mental space in our lives. And what I realized as I was doing all these exercises, that I had a chair in my dining room that had a pile of papers on it. You know, those papers that you don't quite know what to do with? And every single time I walked by that pile of papers, there was this small sense of anxiety inside of me. That it felt uneasy, unfinished. There was something that bothered me when I walked by it. And so one day I cleaned that chair off and got rid of that stuff. I couldn't believe every time when I walked by that how much lighter I felt. It wasn't calling my name, just like she said those things, the dress was calling her name in the closet. I know there have been times in my life too where I've gone on cleaning spells and cleaned out closets. And I open the linen closet and there's actually space in there. How much easier I breathe. It's amazing. And so here's the thing. Having things that we don't use not only creates this sense of mental overwhelm, but it actually blocks the good from flowing to us because it causes stagnation. It's stagnant energy. We talk about the law of circulation, and the law of circulation is dynamic. The law of circulation is something that is constantly moving. And so as part of that law of circulation, we give. And part of that law of circulation is we receive. The other part of that law of circulation is about appreciating and valuing and using. Because do you see how appreciating and valuing and using is energy that is moving? When something is sitting in a closet that you haven't used for years or in a pile in the corner of the living room or wherever it is, there's no moving energy. It creates stagnant energy. And it blocks that flow of the law of circulation. And so I think about work, too, what work looks like. You know, we go out into the world and we share a talent and we share a skill, and in return we get a paycheck, which then in turn is turned into money, and then we go out and we use that money to buy things like electricity and to pay our rent and to put gas in our car and to have electricity and for entertainment. And so as we put that money out there, then we receive those things. We receive a home to live in, and we receive electricity, and we get to eat the food that we bought, and we get to take our car and go places. And then as we do that thing, those people also that have given of those goods and services, they get to receive a paycheck, and it turns into money. And then they go out and they spend it on gas and entertainment and a home, and they get to receive those things in return. It's the spiral that's constantly moving as part of that law of circulation. But when we hold on to things that aren't serving us, there's no movement. It's just stagnant. Stagnant energy clogs that flow of good to us. And so I have one invitation for you right now, which is to every single day get rid of something that someone else can love and appreciate and value and use. One thing every single day that someone else can have moving energy on that you don't have moving energy on. And so what I'd like to do is, you've all been given a leaf and a pen, and I'm going to do a meditation for you. If you don't have a leaf or a pen, will you raise your hand? So I invite you just to turn within for a moment and to move within to that place inside of you where you feel love, where you feel appreciation and gratitude. Move within to that place of peace. The place where you can feel your own wholeness. The place that is wholeness itself. the place that is, and you where you are enough. The place of kindness. And as you rest in this place of your own wholeness and peace, to ask yourself, what can I let go of that is no longer serving me? What can I let go of that will lighten my load? Is there a physical possession that you have? Maybe something you thought you wanted, but then when you got it, you realized it wasn't really what you wanted? Or is there something that you possess that you're not using? Is there a belief that you can let go of that is not serving you? Is there a goal that you've been holding on to that is no longer applicable in your life? Perhaps it's even something that someone else wanted for you. Is there an idea that you can let go of? A habit that you can let go of? A defense mechanism that you can let go of? Is there a person that you can let go of that is not serving your highest and best? Is there something you can let go of that is draining you physically or emotionally or spiritually? And before you let go of that thing, ask yourself, is this real? Or do I simply need to let go of the way that I'm seeing it? And so I invite you to open your eyes, and what I want you to do is to write one thing that you are absolutely willing to let go of on that leaf that you have. And when you're done writing that thing, I'm going to invite you to come up here and to crumple that up and break that leaf up into this basket that I have here. Let it go. And so my call to action for you this week is to continue to do that inventory. Continue to look at what it is that you've been holding on to that no longer serves you, and to just let it go. To continue to ask yourself that question. Is there something that I need to let go of that's been holding me back from where I want to be? Maybe that's even from where I want to be, which is in a place of peace or having serenity. Whatever it is, what do I need to let go of that's holding me back from where I want to be? And to get rid of one thing every single day that someone else can use and appreciate and value. And honor the fall equinox. Do things that create greater balance in your life, that add to the balance, and release those things that hinder you from experiencing balance in your life. And take the lesson from the falling leaves off of the trees. Let go of the stuff you're not using. Let go of the stuff that isn't serving you and the stuff that blocks the flow of good in your own life, so that in turn you can make room for the good that yearns and seeks to fill your life and to create your best life ever. And so blessings to every single one of you. Happy fall equinox, and blessings on this path of letting go and living fully. Blessings to you. And so I invite you to join me in an affirmative prayer. And so how good it is to be in recognition of this infinite presence of good, this boundless presence whose good pleasure it is to unfold in our lives as an abundance of good. How good it is to recognize that presence, that it's good pleasure to unfold in our lives as the things that enable us to thrive and to flourish and to be joy-filled, to love and be loved, to revel. And so today we revel in that presence, and we revel in this abundant life. For we indeed are in the season of the harvest. For we look at our homes, and we look at our lives, and we look inward, and we see fullness. And we hold gratitude for all of that, for we are indeed blessed beyond measure. And so today we just take this reminder of the fall equinox and let go. And in our openness, we move into the flow. And that flow flows to us and through us and around us, upon us, within us, as an abundance of good. And so today, it is with gratitude for this life in God, for all of the blessings of our lives, that I give thanks. And so I also speak this world right now about this world, knowing that the presence of the Infinite One, that love and peace and unbound good guide and direct every person on this planet. For that presence lives within each person's heart and soul and mind. And so today, that presence is orchestrating things on this planet so that we are moving collectively into a place of harmony and a place of peace, a place of balance and inclusion and oneness. For oneness is the truth, and we are each awakening to that, to our connection with each other, our connection with this one family, and the truth of our oneness with each other, with life itself, and with that infinite presence that we call God. And so in gratitude, I release this prayer into that creative womb of the universe from which all things unfold. And so it is with gratitude and with high expectation that I release this prayer. And I invite you to join me in saying, and so it is. And so Barbara Conant, our practitioner, is going to come up and lead us in an affirmation now.
So if you would join me, I let go of that which no longer serving me. Okay. I let go of that which I am no longer using.
That one. Let's start again?
Yes, let's try it again. Third time's a charm. I let go of that which I am no longer using, that which is no longer serving me, and that which blocks my good. I create an opening, and in turn, I create for my good. And so it is.
And so it is now time for our offering. So if you brought an offering today, I invite you to bring that up and to participate in that law of circulation, for certainly we have all received here today. And so I invite you to join me in a blessing of this offering. So it is from this place of fullness of heart and gratitude for this thing called Living Beyond Limits, gratitude for this philosophy, gratitude for each other, gratitude for this family, and gratitude for this offering, that I bless this offering from this place of fullness, knowing that it in turn and all of this blesses us, for how good it is to be a part of this. And so I bless this offering, I bless this community, I bless Living Beyond Limits, and I invite you to join me in sending a blessing out into this entire world, to every person and every home, every place of business, to every heart. And I say, thank you, God. And so it is. And so I have a couple of invitations for you. One is we are having a picnic today after service. So stay and join us for games. And if you brought your lunch, if you didn't bring your lunch, I'll bet there are people that have an abundance of food. To also, Michelle Barbary and Patricia Baus are here from Oregon and have stopped in to say us. And it's Michelle's birthday today. So there's actually birthday cake to celebrate with Michelle for her birthday. Happy birthday. Should we sing?
Yes. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michelle. Happy birthday to you. Yay!
And one other invitation, which is I'm going to be teaching an upcoming class, which is an 8-week class called Treat Yourself to Life. It is about each week a different subject. Treat yourself to happiness, treat yourself to love, treat yourself to wealth, to success. The class is going to be on Tuesday evenings on Zoom from 7 to 9. Class begins October 5th, and the cost is $145. Somebody told me before that there are people that aren't wanting to take the class because it's 8 weeks long. So if that is you, and if you've already signed up for the class, we could do 4 weeks on and have a week off and do another 4 weeks if that would seem better for you. So talk to me if one of you are thinking that, because 8 weeks is too long for you. And that's it for my invitations. Just know in this next week that you are loved and that we are so glad that you are a part of this family and that you are here with us. So blessings to you.